do not wear like overseas uniforms. Please wear your local jerseys.
Yeah.
Because after all, in this situation, you're getting behind your country or you're getting behind your local team. Essentially supporting local. Yeah, in situations like that. And let's head over to our favorite part, the comment section, guys. Maybe you'd like to read something, of course, right here. Anything interesting?
Bring out your
Rough Serafin, of course, showing the support. And who's this? Yeah, they're highlighting their jerseys right here. Martini agreeing with the merch, of course.
Yeah.
So it's all up to the teams actually how they make their merch a bit interesting.
There's one thing that I did want to add, and I think it involves the league in a little bit, is that if they could make the atmosphere in the game a little bit more casual friendly, give a casual something fun to do while they're there, right? Have a beverage, have a meal, something that would allow me to be like, I don't know, give me a random name. Any name.
Something interactive. That's all I can say right
Any name,
Sorry.
or Jeffrey, come
Okay.
with me to the game, right? On Saturday, come with me. I'm gonna show you a good time, right? If he's not into football, at least I have, gave him a drink or had some food. We had some chit chat. We had a good time. The game could be a bonus for the time being, but it'll allow me to pull a friend and get them to a game. Because eventually, that's how this thing grows. Right? We're just gonna be pulling friends and be like, dude, you gotta check this out at a great time on Saturday. Come with me, let's check this game out. And eventually, if they go there and they have a good time, they'll come back for more. Maybe they'll bring a friend. We have to keep moving in that direction, or else it's just gonna be the same old faces in the same place.
It's like the fan experience just leading up to the game, of course. It's all part of that. As we'll carry on to segue onto our weekend matchups. As we mentioned, Saturday, 2 days from now, we are gonna open with Tuloy FC versus Maharlika. So Tuloy actually did excel in their invitational, but I'd like to think this is a different challenge now. Tuloy are going to be playing with grown men right here, essentially with the big boys. With Maharlika, on the other hand, they're carrying on that momentum, I see, Diego, from the changes they made earlier this calendar year.
Yeah, and they've played a lot of tune-up matches also, and I've seen that on their coach's YouTube channel. So they've played against the likes of Kaya, they've played against Manila Digger more than once, they played against Stallion. So they're going to be fit. Tuloy also actually will be quite fit because they've, as it's seen there, they've played in the Tuloy Invitational Cup where they played against a lot of UAAP teams. But that's fitness nonetheless. So both of these teams are not at 0%. They've started their season already. And actually, I think this game's going to be very exciting. When you look at the other fixtures, you might be more excited for those fixtures. But what we're going to see in this fixture is we're going to see two teams that want to be the aggressor. They want to dominate possession because, as we know, Tuloy, they do that. They want to pass the ball around, keep the ball on the ground, and pass through their opponents. But Maharlika also, what we're seeing from their YouTube channel of their coach, which I keep mentioning.
You're a big fan of.
Yeah, shout out to
That's
Coach,
a good thing.
Coach Moondog. He actually watches the podcast also, so he messaged me that. And yeah, this is going to be a positive game because both of these teams are going to try to be the aggressor. There's going to be no sitting back here. It's going to be two teams that want to play a similar style. Possession, passing through the lines, high pressing. So I'm actually going to expect that this is going to be a little bit of an open match, maybe more similar to a basketball game, back and forth, back and end. So yeah, this is a very, very exciting match to look out for.
And with Tuloy, Jing, we're aware, they are pretty much the youngest team with their average age, right? Once upon a time, mga bata sila. Now these are the same kids, but they're now pretty much the age of a university student in the Philippines. And I'd like to think they never shy away from a challenge whenever they're playing against pros, right? These are boys playing amongst men, but the Tuloy boys don't seem to be like boys. Hindi sila takot.
Yeah. And the cool thing about them is that their coach is very particular about them gaining experience, right? He's a big proponent about compete. This is how we get better, right? And because they've already played at this level, granted it wasn't a very good season for them on paper, but that would have been huge for their development as kids, as players, as footballers. And when you have the likes of Harry Nunez and John Lloyd, who have done well as well in getting selected for national teams and our youth teams, these boys who are now men have grown a lot in their capability to compete. So I am very excited to see how they measure themselves against a team like Maharlika, who has veterans like Dina Barle, Jarrell Aristorenas, and Michael Menzi. These are proper veterans of the PFL now. So, it's time to see how far along they are in their progress. And this is definitely one of those matches that I'm going to keep an eye on because this is an early marker in what we can expect from these teams moving forward.
And with that, Natasha, interesting, right? Maharlika continuing to show that new page they turned, no longer that, hey, we're giving opportunities here. They're a team, they want to compete. That's for sure.
It's nice to see, of course, that they're also, they've planned around starting this season and they've posted a lot online. That's a lot of what we can gather from this. And as well as their chosen captains. As you said, Jarrell Restorenas, Kenry Balobo, Dean Ibarle, Michael Menzi. And when you think about these players, I'd say that these players are also some of the players that have been overlooked by other teams. They haven't found consistently a home yet in terms of a club that they get to serve long time. And so this could be their chance to shine. If usually, for the other clubs, they don't do as well, or they're usually just coming off the bench. They don't get that much playing time. But let's see what they can do when they step up to the plate and now lead Maharlika FC against, of course, Tuloy FC. And as we talk about Tuloy, though they didn't finish so well in their previous seasons, etc., the thing about them is that they are a young team, so you're always going to root for them. And they're a team that have been training together and that have been together year in, year out. They just had their Tuloy Invitational Cup, which they won. And so you know that they're match fit and they're sharp coming into this season. And you're going to be excited with how much they've grown, how much they've learned. Because with a young team, there's a lot of learning curve. And so you can see that every year that they're just going to get better.
So a strong start, of course, could give them that confidence to go all the way. Let's get on with our matchups for this Saturday. Right after Tuloy Maharlika, we've got Taguig versus Cebu. And Taguig, there you go. Finally broke that social media silence, giving us the surprises we expected of sorts. Coach Scott Cooper, they did announce, is going to be handling this squad. Patrick Reichelt, a veteran, of course, a national team legend, just to banner that long list of players. Natasha, expectations high as always for Taguig, as we've said in the last episode.
Of course, the thing there is you have Coach Scott Cooper leading the charge. As he said, they've also started posting online. So it's a lot of things to be excited about. Hamed Hajimedi, Kurt Dizon, Marvin Breseño, all these players that will be playing for the side of Taguig. But they're also players, you could say, that are on the latter stages of their career. So you'd also like to see or how they're going to fit in going against Cebu FC that has been pretty consistent the last few years.
Very, very interesting. Medyo may pasabog yung Taguig over the last few days, finally. And as you mentioned, it's a kind of a different dynamic for this team now. Coach Scott Cooper used to coach the Ascos development team, right? We're talking about the complete opposite end of the spectrum where you're trying to get the most out of potential. Now you're trying to milk what's left of, veterans who have been around the park, so to speak, right? But they have these veteran smarts, they have their experience, and they have the quality that has been on display for over a decade now with some of these players. So it's a different challenge for Coach Scott Cooper. But one thing for sure is if this team is going to be anything like the previous team that he coached, they're going to be gritty and there's going to be a lot of fight that you're going to expect from their teams. And with Daisuke Sato there, I wouldn't be surprised if that would be the case, right? But what a first game against Cebu Football Club immediately, right? Which is also a team that loves a bit of a scuffle, that loves a bit of a fight. So I think this is, these are ingredients for fireworks in this game. And if you're watching on Saturday night, you can, you should grab your popcorn, rub your hands together, because this is going to be a heck of a game, in my opinion.
And that'll be something to see in person, of course. But getting with Cebu Football Club, Jago, these guys have been able to play some matches, whether you call it the preseason or not. They got Choppy Cup games already, so things also looking good for Cebu. They have the rhythm.
Yeah, they might be the most match-fit club right now in the PFL because, as you actually covered also, they played 3 games in the Shopee Cup. That's high-level games against high-level competition. So they beat Kasuka in 2 legs, 1 home and 1 away. and then they played against the Tampines Rovers from Singapore at home, and they did lose that match. But again, it's another 90 minutes against a high level opposition. So that's 3 very, very good games to get fit, and 3 games where they actually played well despite the 2 losses in that. And you have players like Noah Ledel, who's really become a prominent figure as of late, also scoring against Tajikistan the other day. So it's going to be a very, very interesting game, this one. For example, there's a lot of individual battles to look out for. Patrick Reichelt versus Noah Ledel, that's going to be something to look out for. The midfield battle, that's going to be something to look out for. Yeah, this match, I have no idea which way it's going to go, but I'm just going to watch it and enjoy. And we actually saw also, there was a bit of a reunion the other day when
Fatih and Noah.
Yeah,
kaibigan na sila ulit.
they did play each other when Tajikistan under-23s played the Philippines under-23s. Of course, that campaign just ended. The Philippines, with their best ever performance in that campaign, however, they didn't qualify through, but we congratulate them anyway. But yeah, back to this match. This match is going to be firecracker.
And I'd like to think that Whether you're a Philippine football fan or a Cebu FC fan or a one Taguig FC supporter, it's all worth the wait right here. As I was getting ahead of myself, it is your Philippines Football League action. Teams continuing to play their first games again of the season, and it's a heavy game from the get-go. Clara Manzano here alongside Diego Cordero. A heavy game, as we've said.
Yeah, a clash between two heavyweights in the PFL. We have one Taguig, the young club, up against another young club in Dynamic Herb Cebu, and this is going to be a very, very strong barometer to see what we can expect from these two teams this season and what a match it is for them to open their seasons.
Speaking of young club, what you're referring to is their founding date of teams, respectively, because when you look at it, they don't seem young at all with the way they run their teams and with the familiar names, the big names that they have right here. So we can't wait to get started, of course. Plenty of storylines, even though we are only playing the first game of the season. A lot to unpack, of course. Cebu FC, we did get to preview them of sorts already because they spent their preseason in an interesting fashion playing in the Shopee Cup. We'll get more details on that as we carry on with this game. But as to one Taguig, they just let all the fireworks come on in the recent days as they finally made their signings official. So let's get over with one Taguig. And speaking of these signings, a long list, right? And I'd like to think you want to unpack them, Diego.
Yeah, very, very long list. But even before the list starts, a new coach for one Taguig FC. We have Scott Cooper, who was the former national team coach back in Philippine football, now with one Taguig FC. A very experienced coach in Southeast Asia and around the world in general. And that was even before the signings. That was already a major announcement, but we got to see the likes of Patrick Reichelt being announced a few days ago, and that is a major signing. So a lot to unpack for one Taguig FC over the past few days. And yeah, they have the platform tonight to show what they're made of this season.
An interesting statistic is that they have 19 goals that they need to replace because Yukasa Shimomura, Junior Sam, Nano Amita are elsewhere now and are no longer with the club. So, of course, expectations continue to be high with this team, despite of them losing those big names we mentioned, because you could argue they got names who are as big or names are even bigger. So there you go with one Taguig. Let's zoom in also when we talk about players such as Patrick Reichelt, for example. Just one of the long names, right? But we got to give him justice when you refer to him, because Patrick Reichelt, after all, 93 caps. He was ecstatic to be back here at the Rizal Memorial Stadium, and the body language just says it all, but he is going to give this team that massive boost.
Yeah, as you mentioned, the second top goal scorer for the Philippine men's national team, and he also holds the record for second most appearances. I think that's a joint record with a certain Chiefy Caligdong. He was most recently in Kuala Lumpur City before making the move back to the Philippines. It's not his first time in Philippine football. He had a stint for a few years back before the pandemic.
So there you go with one Taguig, and Patrick Reichelt will look out for that in the game. Let's head over to Dynamic Herb Cebu, or call them Cebu FC or CFC for short. The gentle giants, but not so gentle from time to time when we see the likes of Daniel Gadia lead the way for them, and we could expect them to flex that over the course of this game. And we could expect Cebu medyo lamang sila dito compared to the other clubs as a whole, because it's like their preseason is over already, right? They're in shape.
Yeah, 3 very, very high-quality matches in the Shopee Cup. And another factor you have to look at when you look at Cebu is they have their own field, they have their own facilities. They have it easier in that sense to prepare for the PFL season. But yeah, the big thing was that they've already played 3 very big games in the Shopee Cup. 2 losses in that, but nevertheless, match fitness-wise, you have to give them the edge over any other PFL team. So it's definitely going to be a strong start for them in this season, because there's nothing else to expect from Dynamic Herb Cebu right now.
Cebu FC, though, playing away from the comforts of their home, which is an absolute fortress, but they are familiar with the Rizal Memorial Field, just like any other local team. But we will talk about these different players also, and they did not travel with their entire squad, but they do have some promising international players. Oftentimes, players or clubs would sign up foreigners, but not not if you're Cebu FC. They sign up national team players who are from overseas. There's that list, of course, the likes of Fatih Kudoy Dodzoda. There's Rami Jaridi on the other hand also. But let's get to it, of course, with Rico Andes. He's one of the guys to look out for here.
Yeah, one of those new signings that have already made an instant impact in the Shopee Cup. Goals are what he's going to bring, and that's quite simply put because he has added a lot of firepower to the front line of Cebu. And yeah, he's going to be one to watch out for in this matchup.
In their qualifying playoff, which was double-legged, Cebu FC's Rico Andes did score a total of 3 goals in 2 games. Not just Rico Andes, of course. When we talk about players to look out for, we will highlight the others, of course, as we go on. And with this, we did give in our predictions. Let's not bring that out first, of course. But it is important to start strong and, as we don't make it to the top 6, given the tournament format.
Yeah, you always want to play your first game well when you start a season. And for both of these teams, I'm sure the message is similar for each dugout. Start the season well and send a message across to all the other teams in the league. And that's exciting as a neutral because you're going to see it clash both ways.
And earlier we did talk about Scott Cooper, right, for one Taguig, but let's not forget for the Gentle Giants in Cebu FC, it is Coach Glenn Ramos, also known as TGR, his initials, and he is an absolute legend or institution in the Philippine football grassroots scene, specifically with Cebu's grassroots ranks, right? There's a number of players who have actually been able to just learn from him over the course or in the young stages of their career. So it's a full circle of sorts, right? It's not every day you get to say, hey, this coach taught me how to play football growing up, and then you get to play for him when you're a professional already. I'd like to think that's not just going full circle, but also living the dream. Let's not forget, of course, earlier we also had another game to open things off. It was Maharlika taking a 3-2 victory over Toloy FC. Unfortunately, in the perspective of Toloy, that was just a consolation goal at the end. And we have a heavy matchup also later with Aguilas UMAC FC, who recently rebranded, and they'll be squaring off with the defending champs in Kaya FC Iloilo. This is the place to be, of course.
Yeah, the action does not stop. And yeah, we also have 2 matches tomorrow. We have, I believe, the first match is Valenzuela PB Mignola against Philippine Army, and then another major heavyweight battle between Manila Digger and Stallion Laguna FC. So the action is jam-packed here at the historic Rizal Memorial Stadium, and that's only match week 2 of the PFL. Again, there are more matches to come in this month and for the rest of the year, so do continue to catch the action here in Rizal Memorial Stadium, or if you can't make it, continue to watch the games here on the PFL YouTube and Facebook pages.
Sigurado ako bitin yung experience niyo if you're catching this from home. So join us tomorrow live at the Rizal Memorial Stadium. But if you cannot, of course, you're always welcome to join us on the YouTube page of the Philippines Football League. And today, actually, we are also showing the games on Facebook.
Yeah.
So that's also quite a sight to see, of course, the community engaging as ever. Kahit sa Facebook and YouTube, please continue to leave those comments. Who are you rooting for? Score predictions? Place them, of course, in the comment section. Pati yung pangalan ng mga favorite players niyo, pakilagay na din. So there you go. We're going to take a short break as we are going to head over to our marching in a bit. Here we go now. We are nearing kickoff between one Taguig FC and Cebu FC. Our respective captains here, Daisuke Sato and Daniel Gadia, along with our match officials for this one. Si Big John Pineda, ang referee natin ngayon. Sila Relly Palila at Ismael Pasion, ang ating linesman. Si Raymar de los Santos ay ang fourth official. Si Christian Dale Soriano ay ang referee assessor. And the match commissioner is none other than Jeremy Mark Pagila. Daisuke Sato and company locked in, and here is that formation of theirs, Jago, in a 4-1-4-1.
Yeah, strong lineup for one Taguig to open their PFL season. The highlight is for sure the new signing of Patrick Reichelt, but don't forget about the likes of So Ome, Oliver Bias, and of course Captain Daisuke Sato for one Taguig FC.
There you go for one Taguig FC. Plenty of popular names or familiar names again, as we mentioned, but let's head over to Cebu. As expected, it is a 4-4-2 for Coach Glenn.
Yeah, he's sticking with what worked so far in the Shopee Cup. Again, Cebu have already played 3 high-level and high-competition matches, both home and away, and already in the stadium, in fact. So they are already up and running for the season. They are not starting at 0, unlike other teams. So they are already familiar with what's working so far and what might need to be improved from their Shopee Cup campaign. We'll see how different their performances are tonight.
Here's a look at the subs, of course. Let's see who will be able to change this one up. And yes, you're seeing it right. Also, there is Kurt Dizon on the bench and Ahmed Hajimadi. Some of the big signings, of course, and they'll be starting this one off the bench. It could potentially change up the game. These names, of course, for Cebu, there's Borlongan as expected, and Fatih Kodoy Dodzora, the youth national team player for Tajikistan in the U23 level, to be precise, reunited with his club teammate again, with the likes of Loan Nidel. As this match was kicked off by the Gentle Giants, they're in all red, playing from right to left. One Taguig in white and black. They are playing from left to right, currently behind the ball. There's this interesting new practice in football where they play the ball long from the get-go, hoping to win a throw-in in the attacking end, and I'd like to think Cebu executed that right away.
Yeah, I think the first team to do it in world football was PSG, and everyone followed. When the best does it, we should do it too, and they tried to follow suit there. It's becoming a common trend, actually, with all the rule changes with the kickoff, as we saw there. Oof.
Not so gentle there from Paulos. All laughs from Mr. Tassi when I actually spoke about the Gentle Giants moniker for Cebu, and then his boys being not so gentle from time to time, imposing themselves. Laughs, of course. And I asked, sir, is this okay? He said, yes, that's part of their style of play.
Well, we definitely saw that aggression right there. Referee opting not to give much thought to that foul, but do not be surprised if we see more of that physicality for the rest of the 90 minutes.
Custodio will give this to Stephen Helm. Stephen did transfer from Stallion Laguna to one Taguig as they play this one down the left, looking promising. They didn't get to cross. It's looking a bit tough though. Bias, you gotta appreciate the effort though. What's a bit surprising actually with Stephen Helm transferring here to one Taguig, he was pretty much one of the center backs only in that Stallion squad. And he was a shoo-in in the starting 11. Tapos bigla lumipat na lang.
Yeah, they definitely did want to replace the departure of the other Sato, si Shoma. And what a replacement Stephen Helm is. And there you see him already not just doing defensive duties, but already spraying the ball left and right and allowing one Taguig FC to circulate possession.
As Custodio could not connect with Daisuke Sato, but his teammates have his back with the likes of Aguirmang, one of the new signings. Trademark stuff from Daniel Gadia.
Yeah.
We will introduce that because it's the first game of the season for Cebu in the local level.
Yeah, as we know from Daniel Gadia, he goes full throttle, very, very aggressive. And as we do actually see here, that there has been an injury to a Cebuano player.
That is Victor Luis. This is not good. It's your first game in the local league. And then you're down just not even 3 minutes into this game.
Yeah, Cebu fans will be hoping that Victor Luis is going to be okay after this. We'll see what happened in the replay here. It was a 50-50 challenge with the opposite captain, Daisuke Sato. And can't really see there where the contact was made. but clearly Victor Luis was distressed from that challenge. So he is back up. It looks like he'll be fit to continue, and that will be a bit of a relief for Dynamic Group Cebu, because to make a substitution this early, not ideal.
Coach Arvin just having a look there. Nakita nga natin medyo alanganin yung pasa ni Custodio kay Daisuke, kaya buntigan nakuha ni Victor Luis. But it will be Rami Jaridi, also not making his debut for Cebu because he did play again in that Shopee Cup group stage game.
Yeah, and Jaridi, definitely another good signing for Cebu, and a very, very veteran figure, because he is, I think he's 40 years old now, and he has 10 caps for Tunisia, which is a World Cup nation. They qualified in the last one, and that's a very, very impressive caliber of signing.
Long ball here, trying to challenge the back line. Pete Forosuelo read that well.
Yeah, first involvements in a one Taguig shirt for Pete Forceweller, doing well to track his attacker there.
Let's carry on a bit with Rami Jaridi. Alam ko may kulang pa dun sa kwentuhan natin sa kanya. You were pointing out something to me, right?
Yeah, so he has played in a very, very high level of football, because he has made his debut in the 2019 FIFA Club World Cup. I think it was with ES Tunis. So that's how high he's reached in his career. So he's now going to be here for Cebu to give his guidance for the Cebuano backline.
But if you talk about the opposite man to Rami Jaridi, Henry Bandiken, Cameroonian. He's been in the Philippines for quite some time already, a fixture in the league. Luis trying to get it to Gadia.
Yeah, interesting starting position here from Gadia as the winger. Not really where we used to see him, but Coach Glenn perhaps identifying something where he could do there.
Gadia, after all, has that quick burst of speed when he has to get into a sprint race. Luis, he'll knock this one back. Yeah, he looks good. Noel Liddell also playing fullback here. It's played long by Camis. Gadia again. Thought about it. Took the shot. Pete Forosuelo there again. Stephen Halm. Did he intend to do that?
I think he did. He looked backward right after doing that, so I think he knew that that was for Bendeken. Good first involvements for Stephen Halm.
It is obviously a tough task, right? To be on the same page as your goalkeeper. And I'm also talking about the center backs and the defenders in particular.
Yeah, most especially because Stephen Ham and the fact that he is a new signing. So we don't know how long he's been training with these people, as we see a rough challenge there.
Patrick Reichel could not convince Big John Pinedo with that. And played long by Custodio. Foot race now. Andres Aldeguer sends it low, but sent back.
Yeah, good movement there from Andres Aldeguer. Usually a striker. Looks like he'll be playing as the right winger tonight. And he did well there to time his run, not be offside and to get in behind. So that's definitely something One Taguig can target for the rest of this matchup.
Fans in attendance at the Rizal Memorial Stadium, don't you forget, we still have another game, a heavy one also. It will be KFC Iloilo and Aguilas UMAC FC. It is a triple header. Sulit ang ticket dito ngayon sa Rizal Memorial Stadium, dito po sa Maynila.
Yeah, and don't forget to catch the games too online.
As Pete Forosuelo sent that out and about. There you go again with Coach Arvin, being the more active player or coach in the technical area.
Again, what an acquisition it is, though, to get a coach like Scott Cooper in your dugout for One Taguig FC. He will definitely bring something. He'll bring that wisdom that he brought from his experience with the national team and also from the likes of the Thai League, the Indian League, which are some of the top leagues in Asia now with One Taguig FC.
You see the opposite ends, you could say, here of the Philippine football circuit. Coach Glenn, of course, the grassroots level, right? Worked his way up as Jaridi went off his line and had to stop at charging. This is Daisuke Sato. Oli Biaz was back, of course. They swapped in that instance.
Yeah, Jaridi there showing his experience. Again, 40 years old, but showed a burst of pace there to sweep out that attack with some sweeping keeping.
Forosuelo overhits this one.
frustration kicking in already. You could remember, of course, yet a cross that could not connect. That's why this will go back to the way of Cebu in all red. They did lose a great number of goal scorers, actually, or top goal scorers from last season. But yes, you still have Abusi. He finished last season with 8 goals. But there's no more Hama, Kaito Milan, Rio Togashi, Gabe Silva. Because right after that list, if you in theory delete the players who departed, next is Daniel Gadia with 2 goals. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing that Gadia only had 2 goals last season, but he's more of that midfield engine doing the dirty work to set up guys like Abusi. Speaking of setting up, Paulos tried to play this one. Great intentions. But a great read from Henry Bandiken. He couldn't get it to Tong. Sabihin ko na rin, Diego, you gotta add Tong to the list of best hairstyles. With the blonde hair, wala na si Kuya Goktu Demirolu, of course, the Turkish defender of the Gentle Giants. Fantastic from Ledel. Back to Tong, trying to connect though. Couldn't set up Rico Andes. Great intentions though, I'd like to think.
Yeah, that's twice in the space of a few seconds that Tong got in behind his defender, si Forzuelo. So that's a battle to look out for because you see Forzuelo going the other way. And then Tong challenged him also going forward. And that's good, promising signs for Cebu. Haven't had much chances yet, but that was an opening that could have been dangerous had the cross been more accurate. And that's a promising sign for Tong that he's gotten in behind his defender on more than one occasion.
We're close to the 10-minute mark already, and we are still goalless. Once again, keeping the ball in the attacking end more. And there you go. To the Gentle Giants, having to unleash that not-so-gentle side once more.
Yeah, not the ideal area to concede a set piece. We will see one Taguig send forward their center backs, so a chance for an attacking cross here. And the first test for the backline of Dynamic Herb Cebu here at the 10th minute.
It's going to be the battle of the big boys because you have Stephen Ham and Matthew Custodio who will try to outmuscle the likes of Camis, Rosquillo, Amirul, Ledel. Most of them, of course, you could say are the Bruce brothers for the U23 national team. I'm adding Ledel now to Rosquillo and Amirul. It used to be two brothers, now make it 3. Then there's dangerous players, of course, such as Patrick Reichelt. He's still getting his way here or feeling his way into the game, but nonetheless, Taguig have been dangerous with all of their options around or all over the place.
Yeah, definitely multiple sources of attacking play in that one Taguig FC front line.
Here's the whistle from John Pineda. I think they tried to go for a goal, but denied by the keeper at the bottom corner. They'll try to recycle. In the perspectives of Cebu, great defending. That's why they release now on the counter. They step on the brakes for a bit. Andes. He had some support also from Tom. I think they wanted more numbers. They wanted Paulus to join the fray too.
Yeah, that's good tracking back from Oliver Bias. Not a defender naturally, but he uses his space to recover his team there. Dangerous moment actually for both sides.
This one now, Andres Aldeguer getting himself ahead, but it's denied well by Jaridi. Tough man to beat. Hey, we explained why earlier.
Yeah, 2 saves in the space of 2 minutes for Jaridi. Definitely already showing why he was signed by this Dynamic Herb Cebu side.
And when you and I were doing the pre-prod or our discussion prior to this game also, one player to add to the likes of Patrick Reichel to look out for is Andres Aldeguer, because he has already figured out his role in the team and has been able to, or actually had 4 goals for the team last season. What a strike though, what a stop.
Showed electric pace there, so usually known for his height, he was rapid in that occasion, getting in behind Daniel Gadia, who's just being deployed as, looks like a left winger or left back, but either way, Andres Aldeguer, that's not the first time already he's ran in behind that side of Cebu's backline, and it looks like he's going to continue trying to do the same thing.
Well, after all, the dad of Andres Aldeguer, a basketball player back in the day, scoring not a problem for the Aldeguer family. Kahit ibang sport, no?
Yeah, I just saw again that he tried to catch Gadia on the blind side, but I think the referee stops the play for a flat ball, it looks like.
Yeah, this happens from time to time, but very interesting. yeah, something you were pointing out was the play away from the ball. Sometimes that's what makes or breaks a game, right? It's not just all what's going on right where the ball is. There's these runs here and there away from the play. I believe that is what they're sorting out now with the game ball. Fourth official Raymar de los Santos staying on top of things. That's just an example of one of the many things that the fourth official has to do in the game. Not only when there's a flat ball, just to clarify, but there's a lot of off-camera duties. You are the fourth official. Sato knocked it back here to So. Tried to get it to Andres. Cleared up by Rosquillo. We're aware that Rosquillo did get some knacks here and there when he was playing for the U23 national team in the Mandiri Cup.
Yeah, and that under-23 national team actually has a lot of presence in the Cebu team right now, also on the bench. So it's definitely nice to see that they built their chemistry also not playing for Cebu but for the national team.
And as is the case here, as it's in a tight spot, Liddell had to knock it back to the keeper, Giridi. There's the intent to control that one to the wing as they could, with the hopes of connecting and starting a play there, but instead they conceded a throw-in. Is this one still in play? So far, so good. The Taguig bench wanted something. Fantastic stuff from Rico Andes. There was also the ball sense there, but first, and this is Tong who is down.
Yeah, the Cebu bench really not happy with that because if there is a head injury, you do expect that the game will stop right away, and it does look like Tong is holding his head, and Cebu will be hoping that that is not a serious injury.
Here's a look at that one.
Trying to see what happened here. It looked like it was a late challenge from Forzuelo on Tong. He's back up on his feet, so he will be fit to continue. And the referee will just restart play. And I'm just noticing that the referee has his card.
Yeah, he gave a yellow to Pete Forzuelo.
So there you have it. The game's first yellow card to a fullback, which is not ideal because you're going to be doing defending for the rest of your game on a 1v1 against your winger. And you commit one more foul, you're going to be on the edge for sure.
Cebu, of course, seeing that, are well aware of the situation. So perhaps they may try to go for Pete Forzuelo to be precise.
For sure. Definitely a tactic when a defender's on a yellow card.
Slip here, though, from Custodio. Daniel Ganya! I believe Andes saw he was offside already. And in that situation, people might wonder, those new to the game, offside na si Rico Andes, bakit di siya tumakbo? Tamad ba siya? But in this situation, you don't want to stop the game, right? You don't want to give a free kick away and allow one Taguig to set up.
Yeah, definitely a new rule in football. Just keep the flow going so that you don't have to stop, start with every single stoppage.
That ball went to Aldeguer. Now through the middle. Aguirmang still with him. Is this too many touches or is he beating the traffic? But stopped again here. Jaridi will try to facilitate.
Yeah, some weak calls for a penalty there from the Cebu fans, or from the One Taguig fans rather, but the referee not having any of that and not listening to those protests. He's actually going to give a word from that play. I'm not too sure what he's going to do here.
But in the picture, you do see Daisuke Sato. He said he is very upbeat heading into this game. Not just with the new signings in general, but playing with one of his national team brothers in Patrick Reichelt.
Yeah, that's a lot of experience in both of those players. And very good from One Taguig FC that despite the 15 departures, that they kept their captain and one of the most experienced heads.
Ooh. What a chance now. Pretty much a breakaway. They shoot. But Jaridi says no for the nth time this evening, and we're only 17 minutes in.
Yeah, Jaridi definitely making a case for man of the match so far. But what a chance this was for Patrick Reichelt, and running through one goal at the Rizal Memorial Stadium. We all expected one outcome, but that's a very, very good save from Jaridi nonetheless.
Everyone enjoying the action here. Yung mga national team players yan. Tandaan nga natin. Liddell. Up against Andres. Victor Luis came off of Reichelt's shin, I'd like to think. But hey, if you could stop a shot like that from Patrick Reichelt, you're the real deal.
Yeah, Reichelt opting to go for that far corner. I think Juridi just read it also with his experience, his 40 years of experience at a high level. And yeah, Reichelt will definitely be thinking, if I get one more of those chances, I should take the next one.
So it's like Reichelt's getting a feel also for the man to beat in that situation. Juridi has gotten up to speed. But the throw in from Forosuelo. Covered great distance. I thought for a moment there was a whistle, but not the case. This ball out already. But just to wrap up my chat, of course, with Daisuke Sato, just to add to having Patrick Reichelt with him in the team, he was also thrilled that Hamed Ajamadi is with them. But we have to call him Tito Hamed already, with the way he's been in the league for so long. And with this season, he's very upbeat that they have a coach like Coach Scott, and what more, their goal is to win, nothing less. And of course, if you're one Taguig, no surprise, they're setting high goals like that.
Yeah, we have to remember that they are one of the teams that finished in the top 4 last season. Actually, they're the only top 4 team last season that didn't make it up to an international competition. So that might just taint their image a little bit. But nevertheless, finishing 3rd out of the many teams last season is quite a successful season nonetheless, and something to build off on for one Taguig going into this season.
Para sa atin, outside perspective, oh, here is Coach Darlton Dig. I say coach because he's also with the Adamson Soaring Falcons. Darlton did play with Maharlika actually in the last season, and great to see him walking. We do know that he did suffer a horrific injury to the shin at that time and had to be stretchered off. But movement now at the back. Liddell bringing it up after getting it from Kamis. Had to hit the brakes.
Yeah, the press just being led by Patrick Reichelt, and we are used to seeing this for the national team. He's doing it again for one Taguig. He's actually telling his team not to press too high, actually, which is an interesting tactic for now. And we do know that the fitness levels of Cebu might just be higher.
Yeah, hold on, Jago. We could see the likes of Reichelt having them put the ball out first for something. Is there an issue with the ball again with the inflation or the PSI? Because at that time, you had the likes of Agyemang and Reichelt. But the ball is now with Andres.
We see the referee squeezing the ball, so it's definitely the ball that's being scrutinized here.
Yeah, because I surveyed the field for a moment to check if anyone was down. So there you go. Fair play, right? They're continuing this game with how it was stopped. A gentleman's agreement. Custodio. Here's Daisuke Sato. We could feel that from here, way up in the grandstand.
Yeah, you could hear the collision on the ambient microphones, and the way Sato just got up, continued after that challenge. That's what we know he's like to be like that.
Agyemang on the overlap. Oli Pias tried to get it. Patrick Reichelt takes a hit here. And there is a welcome back to the PFL given by Kamis. Actually, kahit sabay sila ngayon, di ba? Kamis is a new addition to the team. Reichelt returning to the PFL.
Yeah, Reichelt just stepping in front of his defender, getting there first, and the challenge was late.
See some veteran moves there.
Winning his team a free kick in a dangerous spot. Similar area to the one earlier that forced a save from Juridi. Let's see if another shot is taken or if this time they opt to cross it towards their big men.
Let's also note that Patrick Reichelt has that ability to win free kicks here and there, and those are virtual assists. Tandaan nga natin, he won that penalty that Phil Young husband converted to seal the win for the Philippines versus Tajikistan years back.
Yeah, definitely a strong part of his game is being able to anticipate attacking plays.
A similar area and angle from earlier, but this one a bit further. One Taguig looking a little more dangerous now and dictating play. Let's see how this will go. They take it and it sails over the bar. Quite ambitious to take it from there.
Yeah, another shot similar to what he tried to do earlier, but this one more power than usual. I think the next one, his defenders will be trying to tell him to make the cross instead. But another shot off target this time from Taguig FC.
It's on to the right now. Restrom trying to provide support. Here they go now. There was Liddell also to change it up, hence the ball's in the side. Aldeguer will knock it back to Forosuelo. So, threads the needle. Trying to switch it quickly. Andres versus Jaridi. And we will have to rename the grandstand of Dynamic Herb Stadium as Jaridi Grandstand. Sorry, I'm out of words to say already. He's been busy, but showing top quality here.
Yeah, again, his anticipation is much, much more than what we're used to seeing in Filipino goalkeepers because of that experience in high-level competitions abroad, and now he's bringing that to the Cebuano backline. And there it was again. And it was Andres Aldeguer again, trying to get in behind his defender.
They whip this one in. Off the keeper. Eventually gets it though as it ricocheted off a man. Will try to trigger now. Oh, but Daisuke Sato, a greater effort. Andres, he's been active. Setting up Reichelt. Oh, was so close. Close but not quite.
Yeah, Reichelt just looking at his teammates and asking, where were you? Because that was the perfect tap-in opportunity and a very, very good cutback from Reichelt as we see another chance. That shot way over. But here again, the replay for that Reichelt pass. Perfect opportunity for Taguig to take the lead, but no one able to get on the end of that square ball.
Jaridi down. We also saw a brief shot of Matthew Custodio. Jaridi has had to put in the work. But if we look at it in the perspective of Cebu's build-up, and we are aware that they are a defensive team, but you expect a bit more control, because if you get to control the game as the Gentle Giants, they could potentially come up with more quality attacking opportunities. Because with what we just said, that's what Taguig are doing now.
Yeah, Taguig definitely will be not happy, but satisfied with the way that the last 10 to 15 minutes or so have gone. Cebu will be really concerned here because Jaridi was really bailed them out at times already in this opening 25 minutes. He's still down outside of your screen, just receiving treatment from the physios. We'll await further confirmation as to whether or not he'll be fit to continue. And this is actually just a chance for both sides to take a mini water break and to regroup. For Taguig, probably the message is to keep at it. For Cebu, maybe we might see some minor adjustments. We might also see a substitution if Jaridi is not able to continue.
26 minutes done and dusted, pretty much 25% into this game already. Do you say so far so good for Taguig in this perspective?
Yeah, as we kept mentioning earlier, that it was Cebu who's played 3 more games than their opponents, but so far the biggest chances have fallen to the white shirts, and because of that they might just be the happier of the two sides, and the message will definitely to be, okay, we're creating the chances, it's time to take one, as we saw the latest one from Reichelt just going across the goal line with no one to tap it home, and Jaridi is okay, so Cebu will be relieved at that side.
I'm aware it's also a bit of that mental reset when you redo your gloves as a goalkeeper. So there you go. This one will resume. Yes, we were mentioning that Cebu did get some games underway already, but maybe people could float in, oh, baka may fatigue yan.
Yeah.
Kasi sunod-sunod yung mga laro. But I'd like to think in this perspective, they may be rested already because they did get some weeks to recover already after playing that Shopee Cup group stage game versus Tampines Rovers in Singapore. Victor Luis got clipped by Custodio. Tough day in the office here for Victor Luis.
Yeah, Victor Luis, good play there, just anticipating the challenge and buying the foul. Might not actually be okay after that challenge because it's not the first time he's down. Here we see the replay, getting the first touch and then pushing it beyond the foot of Custodio. It's a guilty look because he knew that it was a late tackle, and Victor Luis is still down, so he will require some treatment before the game can continue. But it's an attacking set piece nonetheless for Cebu to show what they can do going forward.
Hopefully the 30-year-old Brazilian is okay. At this rate though, it's not the case.
Yeah, as I mentioned, not the first time that he's gone down in this matchup. We've not even played 30 minutes yet, so we wonder if it's the same injury.
A number of stoppages actually for injury in this game, but we still have no and we still have no goals to show. So I am eager to see how many minutes will be added on later, because from my observations in the past, time is mainly added on if there's a goal scored or if there's a stoppage that's a little longer than usual.
Yeah, and we've had a number of those already so far, so fourth official might just be wondering if he should add even more to what we're used to seeing in terms of stoppage time. Victor Luis is back up on his feet, but as is customary, when you go down, you have to, I think it's 30 seconds on the sideline, or whenever the referee says you can come back in. But for now, Dynamic Herb Cebu will be down to 10 men. If Taguig can take advantage of that, that would be good for them.
They'll be down to 10 players temporarily. Let's see now. Most of the free kicks have gone the way of Taguig. Now it's a chance for Paulos and the Gentle Giants to roll the dice.
Yeah, we saw Noah Little score off a set piece for the Philippines the other day against Tajikistan under 23s. Let's see if he can emulate that type of attacking play here.
As a defender, and he's able to score, of course. It's the battle of the big boys here. Paulos whips it in. A fall. That's not enough to convince Mick John Pineda. Nicely telling him to get up.
Yeah, the Cebu players, they're incensed at that call, but the referee having none of it, and play restarts.
Because Camis actually might be one of the biggest bodies on the pitch, so they really had to stop a guy like him. As it is offside here for Reichel, but he applauded the effort. Half an hour into this one already. Cebu still down to 10 players for the moment, as Luis will enter now, and he'll get his mask back on. Promising. Antes, quite a hit. Is this going to be a card? A potential denial of an obvious goal-scoring opportunity? Or was that because it was overly physical?
I think that's what the Cebu players are protesting about, because it was quite near to the penalty area, and I think if Andes had stayed on his feet, he would have been through on goal. And we spoke about Stephen Hom kanina about how his anticipation has been really good, but this time it was Rico Andes that got the better of the defender. Here's the replay. The flick on was good. Custodio beaten, and yeah, it might have just been overly physical.
And we know Stephen Hom, no malice there. He was really trying to just go for the ball.
Yeah.
But sometimes these collisions happen here and there, as we know.
Yeah, which might be why the Cebu players, even though they were calling for perhaps a red, the referee, I think he recognized that it just merited a yellow card. But this is a chance nonetheless for Cebu.
Stephen Hom with a yellow. Pete Forasuelo with a yellow.
Yeah, that's 2 out of your 4 in the back line on a yellow. So definitely, if you're the Cebu coaching staff, tell your players to get at them one-on-one, maybe force another yellow card and turn the tide your way.
If I'm in the perspective of Taguig, all I could think of is mag-ingat kayo. Or they make a sub at the halftime break, right?
Perhaps.
I don't think they want to burn a window for substitution also early in this game, unless it's an injury and a player has to be taken off. Here's the signal now. Luis and Paulo stepping up to the plate. Will they draw first blood here? Left-footed strike off the back line. You could hear the thud, of course, with the power. There's the control. Luis, but Custodio mishit it. Tong back in the mix of Daisuke Sato with his veteran wits, getting himself in the right place at the right time.
Okay, the wall doing its job there. and Taguig FC escape from that set piece. Referee just telling Forzuelo to go to where the throw should be taken.
In a situation like that, teka lang, masyadong malayo na yung biyahe mo, di ba? As a player taking the throw in, you have to take it pretty much from where the ball went out, but they do allow tolerance. This will go back the way of Taguig in white and black. Cebu, in contrast, the Gentle Giants are in all red. So glad you could join us again. Alongside Diego Cordero, this is Claro Manzano. A new format again for the tournament. For this tournament, let's remember.
Yeah, call it the K-League format, but basically double round robin and then a split.
And in the end, of course, the top 6 teams will play in a single round robin. The bottom 5, as there is a diving header from Sato, we've seen plenty of that in his career. The bottom 5 will figure that classification round. That's how we will determine the final standings, especially with who will be the champion, who will take the spots for the AFC competitions.
Yeah, definitely lots to play for. And because of the format, it allows for many teams to have a shot at gold. So definitely an incentivized format.
Now let's remember, those results carry over. So essentially, every game will still count.
Yeah, and that's why you want to make a good start in the first match.
Counter-attack time now. Stephen Alm gets the number he dials. He wanted an offside flag raised. Rico and they still have to go for it, of course, in that scenario, to be precise.
Yeah, good idea from that run, but unable to time it to perfection, and that's why the offside flag is called.
Let's remember again, we have more PFL action tomorrow. We mentioned those fixtures earlier. We'll mention them again in a bit. But we also have our midweek football next week. That will be the AFC Champions League 2. IFC Iloilo are the representatives of the Philippines Football League. They will play at the new Clark City Athletic Stadium on September 18 versus Tampines Rovers of Singapore. Yes, the same team that Cebu played in the Shopee Cup. But this tournament now is for the Asian stage. As here comes Paulos. And it seems whenever there's a clever ball from Cebu's midfield, Daisuke Sato can just teleport there.
Yeah, playing predominantly as left back, but he is popping up in places where there is danger, and that is one of his abilities, just to sniff out all of those dangerous attacks of his opponent, and keep seeing it here again today.
Here they go. Abusi has been a bit quiet also in this game, but dropping back to help out in the midfield.
Sato again with defensive duties.
So Daisuke. Bandiken. Bandiken, as we know, not as busy. He made things a little more busy for him there as he sent that ball out. And from the release, you could see he knew it was off.
Yeah, but another figure familiar to the Philippine Football League scene, now with Taguig after spells with multiple clubs.
Definitely an asset.
Yeah. Abusi just come down here.
Kajamirul. Flag raised here for Tong, I believe. Taguig players, of course, tried to catch the attention of Mick-John Pineda, given that call favored them, of course.
Might just see another stoppage here for another injury. This time it's Abusi, or it does look like he'll be fit to continue, but as much as possible, you do want to avoid getting injured as early as the first game of the season.
You know, interesting, because we've seen a shift now. Daniel Gadia playing in a more central role, his usual. Kasi kita nga natin kanina, Gadia was playing on the left wing of sorts for his team. Long ball, Rosquillo being challenged. Rosquillo versus Aldeguer.
Yeah, I think that's a more defensively even matchup in terms of height and pace.
Youth national team players, of course. But we did see that Paulos was fouled in that situation. A bit of that time wasting right there though from Magiamang.
Yeah, late challenger from Daisuke Sato, but not enough to warrant any card, just enough to stop the momentum of that previous attack.
Camis playing it to the right after receiving it from Liddell. Tricky there. Some of that bumping, definitely not enough to floor a player like Kaj Amirul. Amirul now joining the attack. He is busy, of course, with his back line. Ooh. What's the call here? Goal kick for Bandek and Taguig. 7 minutes remaining until additional time. Still goalless. Do you expect a goal in the first half?
Well, definitely because of the attacking players of these two teams. But it's been a very, very feisty battle, not just in attack, but in the midfield and across the back lines as well. And no one's won that battle yet. It's probably why it's still scoreless.
Just for the new fans, of course, even if there's no goal, there is this strategic battle that is going on.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier that you saw the likes of Rosquillo and Gadya switching positions. That's the type of battles that are also going on between the coaches. So we see another foul.
And for some reason, it's always by that corner outside of the goalkeeper box. That's where Taguig have been getting these free kicks or set pieces.
Let's see if it ends up the same way or it looks like it will be Oli Bias this time.
Well, Oli Bias, as we know, a quick and dangerous player on the wing. That's why they've been able to get those calls in that area of the pitch.
Yeah, Oli Bias actually, let's not forget, a very, very talented player. Has one appearance for RB Leipzig, the Bundesliga club, and he appeared for them in a Europa League playoff where he appeared as a substitute, and he was substituted on for current Premier League champion centre-back Ibrahim Konate. So there's a fun trivia for you as he takes the set piece.
Bias floats it in. Pinballing around. And the shot was off. I believe it was off of Aldeguer. Eh, sasabihin ko, pag mag-ganon na nasa-starstruck ako eh. But this will resume now. It's a chance in Cebu's perspective to slow down the game because Taguig did get a promising wave. Or Cebu's to slow it down rather, yeah, because Taguig did get a promising wave of an attack. Bandeken will try to play it now. Custodio. 5 minutes and change remaining.
Yeah, we do expect also though, however, that there might be some additional minutes because of all the players that went down in this half.
But if whoever concedes here, it'll be a disaster.
Might be the worst time.
In the defensive perspective. Loose touch though from Paulos. But just going back with the chat about Bias as he is facing Amirul now. They know each other also well from that youth national team setup. And Bias with 5 assists last season actually was one of the leaders at the halfway point of the PFL.
Yeah, Oli Bias definitely a talent to continue to keep an eye on coming into this season.
And this. Try to use his shiftiness. And then it's a foul against Abu C. Winning this one. It's against So. Even with the departure of Shoma Sato, there is still that Japanese connection here. There is So Oma. And let's not forget about Daisuke Sato. Oh, Pinoy si Daisuke Sato, but he did grow up also in Japan. He does call Metro Manila home now, as we say. That's always been the case for Patrick Reichelt, of course. He's away as an OFW, you can say, playing in Southeast Asia. And another one right here. That's been the ebb and flow of this game.
Yeah, a lot of stoppages, a lot of fouls. Referee opting not to give as many yellow cards as there have been fouls, but it has been very stop-start and a lot of set pieces. So if a goal is scored from a set piece, you wouldn't be surprised because from open play, it hasn't looked as likely. This one, however, a direct free kick, quite straight on actually. So it might be a dangerous opportunity for Taguig.
There's the likes of Daisuke Sato now, lining up to this one. And they will try to test Rami Jiridi, also known as the Dynamic Herb Sports Complex Grandstand.
And Jiridi just organizing his wall.
4-man wall to beat right here. Seems like they're gonna go for goal with the way I'm seeing the setup. Interesting though, if you look at Pete Forzuelo, who is lurking off camera, maybe a chance to rebound. This one is on target, lacking in power though.
Yeah, the bounce just allowing the goalkeeper to adjust, and Daisuke Sato. It's a shot on target, but that will be no problem for Jerry D.
This one played long now, off of Rico, and there's no support up front though. The numbers weren't able to get up. They did have to deal with that free kick outside of the goalkeeper area. And Custodio. So he was away from one Taguig for a while and then returned. Seemed like he was taking a bit of a break from the game. That's based on what we see online. Luis. And to no surprise, expressing his frustration. A bit of that athletic tape also being thrown on the pitch.
Yeah, I've just noticed also that Andres Aldeguer, after breaching the defense through that right-hand side multiple times in the first half, the switch of Jaime Rusquillo to that area has allowed Cebu to keep a better track of Andres Aldeguer, and he's now winning those aerial duels against Aldeguer. So that's another example of how football can become a chess match between two coaches, and that chess match, or that chess move, being done by Coach Glenn of Cebu.
Abusito Rico Ades now on the left. He started his game on the right wing. Casimiro. Jaime, the cross. Stephen Ham gets this one to Aguirre. I just wanted to say with Casimiro, he's been the silent operator in the midfield. I'm not saying he's not doing anything. He's putting in the dirty work, but it's not super evident. But him doing that allows everyone else to do the role. But obviously, they want a goal to show for it.
Yeah, just an example of how you can affect the game without a goal or an assist.
3 minutes of additional time. Our fourth official, Raymar De Los Santos, confirmed.
Yeah, not as much as I thought there'd be, but that is due to the stoppages that we've had in this first half.
Let's remember again, the champion here will be playing in the AFC Champions League 2 next year. That will be the qualifying round. Reichel couldn't get it off of Amiru, but somehow, and just went to Camis. Gets beaten. The back line though to support. Ooh, this one shy of the far post though.
The most promising chance so far for Taguig FC, and Jerides looked calm so far, but this chance had him scrambling towards the far corner. It was a bit lax in possession for Cebu, and it's nicked. The shot eventually did come in, and yeah, it looked for a moment like it was going to nestle in that far corner, and Jeridi thought that too, scrambled over, but it just flew wide.
Cebu now, as you see, they're able to just clamp down the players who are in the receiving end of a pass. It'll be Forzuelo. Down the line as expected. Something brewing here.
Do apologize for any explicit language that you might hear.
Just speaks for the intensity of the game, of course. And just to be clear, it's not us saying it, pero medyo rinig yung pitch. May mga microphone dun. Abusi tried to knock it back. We did see Cebu's backline just got it out of the danger zone. But possession now, or possession still with Taguig. Ham trying to get through. Storming, still with him. They wanted a call. And Stephen, of course, just bulldozing his way through. Maybe trying to add that extra dimension to the attack. They felt, or they wanted a penalty there.
Yeah, the Taguig bench up in arms because they thought from that angle, it looked like, not sure if it was inside the box, but it looked like a foul from this angle.
Here's Bias. Dummied well eventually to Aldeguer. Aldeguer shoots! It ricocheted off a man and is in! I believe it is off a defender, so you credit that to Andres. That was on target from the get-go. Andres saw there was traffic, took the shot, And these players know sometimes the deflection can help them and catch the keeper flat-footed. 1-0 here.
Yeah, the perfect time to score. It's just hit 48 minutes, and it's not the first shot that Andres Aldeguer has taken in this first half. And you do say there is a massive ounce of luck that came with that deflection, but you do make your luck. And Andres Aldeguer has been causing danger down the right-hand side for the full first half, and here he gets his reward. The deflection is a very wicked one of Rosquillo.
The technique also there, though, from Andres to take the shot, the control. Absolutely, there's skill involved in that, right? And just like that, halftime whistle. Hey, we were talking about this. Big for any team who'll get to concede, or big for any team who'll get to score, get ahead. Deflating, though, if you're the defending team. And in this case, it's Cebu. Hurts for them, but for one Taguig, you could argue that they got the goal they deserved.
Yeah, they've been pressing for the entire first half, and it changes the way you head into the locker room. You are with more energy and you're lighter. For Cebu, however, it changes the team talk of Coach Glenn entirely, because at 0-0, you do say, okay, let's regroup and bounce back from this, but at 1-0 down, it makes it an uphill battle and not ideal for Cebu.
1-0 for one Taguig over Cebu as we head to the halftime break. It was Andres Aldeguer with a spectacular strike. Well, we'll be back after the halftime break.
Actually, si Coach Kat is just continuing, the program from last season. But I think for me, the biggest changes that we did by the management is we strengthen our attack in front. That for sure that will be giving us more impact in this season. For me, siguro yung magbe-breakout this season is we're expecting more on our foreigners, most especially up front, like Goldeson, Isaac. So we are expecting them na mag-breakout this season. We're looking forward to get that championship and to join AFC PCL to Pinto. Actually, si Coach Kat is just continuing, the program from last season. But I think for me, the biggest changes that we did by the management is we strengthen our attack in front. That for sure that will be giving us more impact in this season. For me, siguro yung magbe-breakout this season is we're expecting more on our foreigners, most especially up front, like Goldeson, Isaac. So we are expecting them na mag-breakout this season. We're looking forward to get that championship and to join AFC PCL to Pinto.
The team right now is doing good in our preparation, and this is a challenge for us. Every team wants to be winner, and our goal for this club is to be in the top of this AFC, PFL, for AFC, and the players also are really respond positively, and we are good. We are good right now, and this is our aim to win this game. Our team is 60 to 70% new players, new team. But our target to this team is to make this happen, history for this year, for this PFL and the future. We make this team good as we give them good challenge in every team here. Of course, we have young players from the national team, U23, and we have also foreign players very young. That's the players to watch for us, and also, of course, our local players in Cebu. They're also good players.
Halftime here at the Rizal Memorial Stadium between one Taguig FC and Cebu SC. 1-0 at the moment. A fantastic, very spectacular goal from Andres Aldeguer. Pretty much before the halftime whistle. Just one goal to show, but it's been quite an affair here, Diego.
Yeah, it's been a very stop-start first half. A lot of physical duels, a lot of chances, especially for one Taguig FC. They tested Jeridi more than once, and it was about time actually towards the halftime break that they took the lead. Andres Aldeguer being a nuisance for the entire first half. His goal, not his first effort. We saw also a chance also for Reichelt, another good save from Jeridi, but he was finally breached right before the halftime whistle, and Cebu going into that locker room right after conceding might not be ideal for the team talk here. We also saw Reichelt, another big chance for one Taguig. They had more than one big chance in that first half, and I think here Reichelt also continuing to be a nuisance.
Yes, and Andres picking up that goal. He is also that force on the wing, connecting with the midfield and keeping possession and breaking down that opposing defense of the Gentle Giants. Yes, Jeridi has been busy also, but there's that goal. They got to breach him.
Yeah, absolutely no chance here for Jeridi. The curl of this shot takes it out to in, and there's absolutely no chance for a goalkeeper in that scenario. And Aldeguer there, ecstatic as we see the two teams get ready.
There's also that deflection again, which is a nightmare for goalkeepers, right? So with that, we head over to the stats.
Yeah, a lot of possession for one Taguig FC. In the middle of that definitely were So and Casemiro. And look at the shots, more than double of what Cebu have. And that's really been the story so far. Cebu will definitely want to see a more favorable stat list when the game ends. But for now, it's one Taguig in the driver's seat.
Now, with that, if you look at the long game, there's 2 yellow cards, so you got to be concerned in the perspective, right, of one Taguig. Do you make that change already? But the catch is, it's 2 members of your backline who you're going to sub if ever you're going to take that precaution, because playing safe, as we know, could possibly hurt you also in different ways. But let's see how Kat Jamirul and this squad will be able to, or let's see if they will be able to bounce back, because there's still 45 minutes to play right here. All to play for.
And definitely still an open score line. Just one goal. Very thin lead that could still tip either way.
And with that also, the defense of Taguig have really been locked down, because Daisuke Sato, to no surprise, with that fantastic ball sense, sniffs danger. He's gonna head there with a snap of a finger, with the blink of an eye.
Yeah, we saw more than one already. He's going into challenges 100% and winning those duels, helping his team clean up dangerous attacks from their opponents, and do expect to see more of the same in the second half.
There's a quality attack from one Taguig, because Patrick Reichelt is being played up front. And he doesn't necessarily have to score, but what he's been doing here, he's been putting that stress on the defense of Cebu. And we were talking about this in the start of the game also, when the kickoffs, conceding a throw-in from deep for the opposing team.
Yeah, the goal is definitely to start the second half or the first half if you do it when the game starts, to start it with a high press. I think it's a tactic borrowed from rugby, and it's now made its transition into football. So it's nice to see that it's being widespread all over the world.
I know that it's somewhat going viral when you see this tactic online and on social media. But I gotta say this, I also gotta give credit. In the 2023 Copa, that is how Maharlika actually kicked off their quarterfinal game against Stallion Lagoon, and everyone's just scratching their heads because right here at the Rizal Memorial Stadium when that game was played. Now we know.
Yeah, it seems weird when only you're doing it, but once everyone does it, they begin to understand. And as we see here, set piece.
Because everyone was wondering, bakit ganun? Takot pa sila sa bola? Well, not the case. Right now, okay, there's that understanding. Set piece though, but they dummied it. Quality ball. Abandeken to the rescue.
The Taguig backline asking the referee for a handball call there, but it wasn't given, so could put that down as a chance for Cebu to start the second half.
There's the intention to actually play Aldeguer there, which was right.
Yeah, the goals come from it, and
It's looking dangerous, and Daisuke had to knock it back. He knew what he was doing, knocked it back to the goalkeeper, but definitely not goal-bound. But there's Stephen Ham who is down. Seems like he got into a collision with Daisuke Sato. Friendly fire while they were just trying to get that out of the danger area.
yeah, bodies on the line quite literally. Those are two defenders that will put themselves at the front line of danger, and it does look like Stephen Ham will be okay after that challenge in the air. I think the referee is just explaining to him that if there is a head injury, do not take any risk, but he looks fine nonetheless.
The usual concussion protocol, of course, as we know. We know Stephen Ham's built tough, of course, so we will resume this one. Just to plug it again, we do have another game later to wrap up our Saturday triple header. KFC Iloilo, the defending champs, will face Aguilas UMAC. An ambitious Aguilas UMAC side, because they have absolutely overhauled their squad. Just the Talarok brothers, one of the few holdovers.
And definitely another interesting encounter between two teams who want to finish in that upper echelon of the PFL. Good turn there.
Make the top six again after the first two rounds. But here is a spectacular through ball. Put it to the middle. Rochelle puts it away. Welcome back to the PFL. It was about time, actually. And we're not saying this because of doubts, but because we know what Patrick Rochelle can do.
Yeah, second top goal scorer for the Philippine men's national team. Scoring again in Rizal Memorial Stadium. Absolutely no surprise in that side there. But what about that assist from Andres Aldeguer, who's having quite a game with such a perfectly weighted ball to the number 9 or number 29 in this case, Patrick Reichelt. Here we see the replay. Andres Aldeguer again in behind his defender with his pace, and the first time pass is perfect to Patrick Reichelt. Jaridi wrong-footed by the left-footed strike.
You thought for a moment Reichelt was going to set that up with his right foot, but all of a sudden just took it quickly with his left. But with a spectacular assist, that low cross from Aldeguer. And credit that clever ball from Isaac Agyemang. Pass to assists, of course. Something also vital.
Yeah, absolutely no chance there for Jaridi. And Patrick Reichelt, now 37 years young, still showing that for him, age is just a number.
Just like that, it's 2-0. And if I recall correctly, I did have an opposite prediction heading into this game. What was your prediction?
Yeah, I think I'll stay quiet for that for now, but might have not been this.
I'm going to have to do some explaining, of course, later to the One Taguig staff. And Patrick Reichelt, given we had the chat before the game. Rico Andes now playing this one through. And there was Tong getting clipped after.
Good save there from Bendeken. Not been called to action that much, but showed up there. And another player down here for Cebu.
Jaime Rosquillo. Tough for Jaime Rosquillo. But he did his defensive duties. Did everything right, but as we've said, sometimes there's just those deflections when an attacking player would launch a shot in front of you.
Yeah, we'll definitely feel hard done by, because up to that point he had been having a decent enough performance. Yeah, but that deflection, absolutely nothing he could do about it, but nonetheless it will make him feel a bit guilty about the fact that he conceded the first goal.
What's interesting actually is Fatty Kudoy Dodsoda, or call him Fatty, as team manager Hannah Wong did say, is on the bench. I expected a player like him to actually play in a game like this, of course, with highly favored or highly touted teams.
Yeah, a member of the Tajikistan under-23s national team, played against the Philippines not too long ago, and Yeah, he did not start, unlike in the Shopee Cup matches. You do say that if Cebu were to make changes off the bench, that he'd be one of the first names right out of the dugout, and might not be that long until we do see changes because, as we saw recently, dynamic Herb Cebu just going 2-0 down right to start the second half.
And JB Burlongan also into the mix. That was his role actually in those 3 Shopee Cup games of theirs. Bandican. That ball was high looping. Seems like there's no wind here at the Rizal Memorial Stadium. Tong. Victor Luis. They'll switch it up. Amirul. Plenty of youth national team players here. Secured well though by Camis. Gadya. It's up to Gadya now to start things well for them. Gadya gets into a collision here. And fouls Casemiro.
Yeah, just smart use of the body there from Casemiro to win the free kick from the over-eagerness of Daniel Gadya in that occasion. And One Taguig can restart.
7 minutes into the second half. Thank you for joining us again alongside Diego Cordero. This is Taro Manzano. We're bringing you the action between One Taguig FC and Cebu FC. And we did see Paulos try to make a run for it, but it was a foul against him. Daisuke Sato getting that done.
Good strength from Reichelt.
Bit of that forearm extended too. The Ascal's connection not working there. Sato to Reichelt.
Yeah, two players who are definitely very familiar with each other's game, and that will help One Taguig a lot this season. Not just in this game, but over the course of the whole season. Because when you have that level of connection, it will just make things easier on the pitch for you.
It just helps you, of course. It's that game of inches, knowing where your teammate is, right when you get the ball. That gives you a head start. Paulos trying to slither through. There was the help though, Casemiro. Now not so silent with the way he's hustling around. It's becoming more evident because Cebu are trying to attack a little bit more now.
What a touch. Patrick Reichel taking that out of the sky and laying it off to his teammate.
With Camis putting pressure on him. That's the quality you talk about, right? With the ability to control the ball and receive a pass.
Another Cebu player down. It's not an encouraging sign. I think it's Rosquillo actually.
Rosquillo again, yes.
And he did go down already in the second half, so might be a little cause of concern for Cebu.
We saw, of course, he got a bit hurt in the Mandiri Cup and then wasn't able to see action in the latter half of that tournament. And if I recall, he did not really see action in Shopee Cup games, or at the most, he only saw limited action.
And I think also he only played one game in the recent Under-23 AFC Asian Cup qualifiers. So, well, he'll be fit to continue for now, but something that Cebu might be concerned about for the rest of this match.
Taguig trying to persist down the right. Tong was putting pressure. That's that slow crawl going up.
You know, One Taguig in no rush to take this throw in. They are 2 to the good.
Here comes Reichelt now. Try to get it to Andres Aldeguer. Just a touch too heavy. Was that the intention from Forosuelo? Well, going back, right, with these U23 players. Yes, you have the Philippine U23 players, and then there's Fatih Kodoy Dodzora. So they actually played against each other when they were in Tajikistan for the AFC Asian Cup U23 qualifiers. That was quite a sight to see. Noah did say it was special. Not just playing against a club teammate of his, but playing against Fatih in Tajikistan in his home stadium. That's what made the moment special, of course.
Yeah, not that common that you can see two PFL internationals against each other rather than together for the Philippines.
Maybe common in Europe, but maybe in Asia, not as much yet. That's why we're somewhat highlighting it. We'll try to secure. Got the job done there. There's the pressure from Rico and Des.
Do wonder how long it takes until Coach Glenn of Cebu uses the likes of Fatih and JB or Longman on the bench, because those are options to change the game.
You mean they may need changes now to start this offense of theirs? Because when you talk about players who are capable of finding the net, there's Rico and Des. 3 goals in the qualifying playoff stage in the Shopee Cup. And then there was also Paulo, who might recall, scoring for the Gentle Giants against Tampines Rovers. Kaj, not in the same wavelength as Abu C. You don't often see situations like that. Kamis with a tough job of having to deal with Reichelt. Someone was calling for it, but Abu C wanted to thread it here. Tuentes, Gadia, laid it back. Liddell, looking for options. Just sent it to a defender in Hound. Casemiro knocked it back. Forosuelo. Despite of those yellows, right, to Forosuelo and Hound, they've been able to take care in this game and avoid any yellow cards, because let's do recall, if they get another one to their name, they'll be out of this game.
Yeah, definitely not ideal, but they have adjusted to be fair to them. And it's not easy to adjust as a defender when you do have a yellow card, because it means you have to play the game, the rest of the game rather, with some anxiety. But they've done well so far here.
Tong the cross. Ham reached that with his athleticism. Casemiro had to step on the brakes. Patient play here. Taguig have the luxury of managing this game at the least.
Yeah, and that's why Taguig can just slow the game down when they want to, because the onus is not on them, it's on Cebu to get on the score sheet.
As we know, sometimes from being able to manage the game, you're able to get scoring opportunities with the team playing catch-up, being a little more aggressive, and then all of a sudden they're going to be open at the back.
Yeah, as you mentioned, that Cebu, while they should chase a goal, have to be careful not to leave too much space at the back, especially for someone like Reichelt.
And Des, definitely out and about. That just sums up the frustrating evening here for the Gentle Giants so far. And it will be Henry Bandican to slowly resume this one.
Yeah, no rush to take this goal kick. A little bit of dark arts, one might say. But the onus is on Cebu.
I think you're quoting Matt Nieras. He wouldn't commentate the PFL, but right in the collegiate level. A good evening to our friends, Kuya Goktu Demirolu. Also, Walid Mr. Clean Peru, who is playing now in Europe. As there's a man down for Taguig. "15 minutes into the second half, or an hour of play already done and dusted. And it seems that Taguig is virtually on cruise control with the way this game is going.
Yeah, Taguig have the luxury because of the fact that they scored right before halftime and right after halftime. And those are the best times to score in football. And you just saw how much it deflated this Cebu side. It's up to Coach Glenn now of Cebu to make the necessary adjustments.
Trying to get this one. Liddell and Juridi on the same wavelength. Well, let's recall also for Cebu, they did finish 4th in the league last season, but they ended their local tournament scene with a bang, because there was the final series, which was pretty much like a Super Cup with the 4 top teams from the league got to play in what was virtually a separate tournament. And then the winner there got to play in the Shopee Cup qualified playoffs. So that is how Cebu actually ended up playing on that stage. And when we refer to the Shopee Cup, that is pretty much the ASEAN Club Championship.
Yeah, successful season for Cebu and for a young club. Not their first time actually in international competition, so it's nice to see that they're able to get to that level on more than one occasion. But for this competition tonight, still behind to the good.
Because we recall, right, in this season, they're playing in the ASEAN Club Championship. And in the previous 2 seasons, they played in the second tier of the AFC. That was the AFC Cup, and then rebranded into the AFC Champions League 2. So that's why they've been able to get promising talent here and there.
And of course, Cebu, one of those clubs in the PFL that have their own stadium, have their own facilities where they host their matches, or if not matches, community events. So they do have that community feel backing them up on the pitch.
I'm aware they also have those watch parties back home when Cebu have to play in places like here in Manila. Here comes Reichelt, playing it through. Almost got to catch the likes of Kami's flat-footed. Well, Kami is quick to react. Tong versus Custodio.
There's a chance there for one Taguig to make it 3, and you do have to say, if they do make it 3, that might be the nail in the coffin, but unable to do so there, one Taguig FC.
Plenty of football here. Will Taguig just virtually ice the game? Or will the Gentle Giants get a lifeline? The next goal, if there is one, will be the most important one, given the different scenarios.
Some words being exchanged here.
That's something here with the face of Forosuelo. That may be some infill on the eyes. I'm speculating.
Looks like he'll be okay.
Referee McJohn Pined with the assist.
Does happen when you do play on a turf pitch.
But it's that grind here again on the wing. We've seen this, of course, in the game. Our goal scorers again this evening, Patrick Reichelt and Andres Saldeguer. And we do have our first changes of the game. Fatih Dodzora is going to enter along with Kazuha Sudo. It's a double change. Paulos is going to step off and call it a day. The same with Abu C. Not every day you see Abu C struggle because he's known for being reliable. There you go on your screens, confirmation, the subs once more. And with Kudoy Dodzona or Fatih being inserted, that is a drive for offense.
A roll of the dice there from coach or the coaching staff of Cebu, because the onus is now on them to change the state of the game at the moment, because at the moment it's controlled by one Taguig FC.
Here's this ball, definitely offline. Some screams there from Taguig's players. I believe there's the initial intent to press. But now they're just shadowing them and they're settling for that block in the midfield.
Yeah, and it's a very compact block because at the moment Cebu just can't play through them, trying to play around them. But Cebu, or one Taguig rather, doing well just to stay compact and not allow their opponents any space, forcing them to go long.
Here they go now. Sato versus Fatih.
What a skill there from Daisuke Sato.
Sorry, I've got it used to it. That's how much I've seen from Sato. Veteran moves. Put a period in that.
Yeah, Patrick Reichelt with his trademark post-up stance wins the free kick and allows Taguig to move up the pitch before they make these two substitutions.
Here's the double change now for one Taguig. these changes as they are hoping to stay in the driver's seat. Sorry if I'm only seeing this now. I do recall Naoto opting to go home to Japan, but he's back. Sorry if I'm only mentioning it now also. I did say goodbye to him when he left the Philippines months back. Because he's also one of those top-level players that you appreciate here in the PFL. You gotta give props to Andres Aldeguer.
Yeah, one goal,
one assist.
Yeah. Good way to start the season if you're Andres Aldeguer. Hopefully, if you're him, you can continue that momentum forward.
So the Japanese connection still alive. In one Taguig, Reichelt shoots! Jaridi, but the rebound! A double save here! It has to be one of the top saves in this match week, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, Jaridi, they're just keeping Cebu alive. Because you do say if it becomes 3, then game over. But for now, Cebu with the slimmest of lifelines because of that double save.
Because, again, as we've said, kung naging 3-0 yan, medyo tapos na yung laro. But I don't say we go home because there's still another game here. Earlier, there was Maharlika who did defeat Tuloy 3-2. And Tuloy did make it 3-2. And those goals ended up becoming a consolation. And then we have this game again. Reichelt and Aldeguer, the goal scorers at the moment. And then later on, the last game of this Saturday, the defending champs, Kai FC Iloilo, will square off with Aguilas UMAC.
Yeah, a lot of action for one match day. Exciting for Filipino football fans all here at the Rizal Memorial Stadium.
Calmly got it here, Custodio. Oh, was that a Meg there versus Tong?
Oh, late challenge there.
The intensity staying high. One of the players who entered, of course, there's Arash. And you know, I mentioned that Japanese influence in one Taguig a number of times already. And it just seems, wherever Hamed goes, sumasama din yung mga Iranians. With the likes of Arash. And then you also have Hamed Hajimari, as you mentioned. And then there's also Hamed Agaye, who is also Iranian. One of 3 Iranians seeing action here in this game. I believe Bandican got a hit also while receiving or meeting that ball. With the drive or bid here for Henry Bandican, the Cameroonian goalkeeper. In getting a clean sheet, it's still on. No clean sheet in that first game of the day. But in a single game scoring output, we know the man to beat this. It's Sekou Cisse, Reichelt going for a brace.
What challenge.
And Kat Jamirul just saying, teka lang, Tito Patrick. Nandito pa ako. I am saying that because Kat Jamirul, right, is also one of the youth national team players. Here's a look.
Yeah, Reichelt threw on goal here. Might have thought that he had more time than he actually did because that's really good recovery from Amirul. Well timed. If he got it wrong, might have been a penalty, but he got the ball and not too much of the man, which is why only a corner kick is given. A lot of pushing in the box, actually.
There's no complaints from the attacking player because he knew it was good. But they'll take this corner. Not too many corners in this game, come to think of it. But it's going to be Oli Bias. Here's the service. Luis. But Arash could not get that. Maybe some unfamiliarity with the turf. Well, here was Sato again. Daisuke Sato bringing it out. Celebrating a stop as if he just scored. Trademark from him. Takes pride in doing the dirty work.
Yeah, you gotta love the passion from Daisuke Sato, your captain. And when your captain does stuff like that, you might as well join him. And that just motivates the rest of the team to rise to that standard. As Patrick Reichelt also showing high standards there, winning another free kick for his team and just allowing the game to continue to be played at one Taguig's pace. So this is good from one Taguig. 71 minutes into this matchup, just under 20 minutes left before the game ends.
First game of the season pa lang tayo. No? Nilabas na ni Daisuke Sato yung special move niya. I'm not saying you expect to see it every game, but in big occasions. But he has a chance now to connect with a teammate for number 3. Stephen Ham got beaten by Tong. Amarul did well. That was to his chest. Getting it to Fati. But this one was stopped though by Bias. And Bias filling in at the back there. Liddell. Camis. 19 minutes and change remaining in this game. Just chested by Sato. Arash. Custodio. Stephen Ham. Quite a debut here for Ham with his new team.
Yeah, what a way to close out your debut if you get a clean sheet, and I'm sure that's what's on all of their minds right now, everyone in the one Taguig backline, because if they get a clean sheet, it'll be a perfect end to this night.
Only one PFL game this season, or only one game this season, has ended in a clean sheet. The win of Kaya FC Iloilo over Philippine Army FC. This could be the second clean sheet when you look at the season as a whole. The community continuing to take in the action, not just enjoying this game, but also anticipating the next one. Supporters of Daisuke Sato and Sooma. Last season, you can remember the super fans of Tsukasa Shimomura, with the likes of Miss Beth and her family. Tsukasa now playing overseas. Fati tried to cross it. Stephen Ham read that well.
Yeah, good acceleration from the center back just to cut out the cross at its source and just kills that attack for Cebu.
Spectacular ball from Oli also, meeting that earlier. Sorry, wala na ako masabi dito. The way of Jerini, of course, has displayed his individual ability. But he had to do what he had to do. Sweeper keeper action. Kaj beating Naoto. Also a new jersey number, I recall, for Naoto. Bodies clashing here. You could say the physicality died down a bit in this game until this happened.
Yeah, but actually I don't think one Taguig will mind being fouled on this occasion. Again, it just allows them to slow the game down, take as much time needed for the set piece. And Cebu running out of time to turn this result around. Just over 15 minutes plus whatever stoppage time is added. But for one Taguig, you must say, for 75 minutes, it's been a really spotless performance from the young club. Only their third season in the PFL, but they'll definitely be thinking that it's time that they made their stamp on it.
And when you talk about smooth sailing, Kurt Dizon is one of the players warming up. If you put in Kurt Dizon, that means you're sniffing more goals.
Yeah, definitely another impressive signing from one Taguig, Kurt Dizon. Really flary attacker.
Naoto, back to So. Arash. They wanted a switch, but there's no one in the right wing. Bias was playing narrow. Custodio, binigay kay Ham. Putting up a clinic here. Sorry, with the commentator's curse there. Stephen Ham winning it back. Daisuke getting up, so they're gonna cover him at the back. Off ball, physicality there. Rachel slowing it down. And got beaten by Kaja Mirul.
Yeah, good sportsmanship here from Amirul and Raishel. Two players on the opposite end of their careers.
To hear exchanging words. Raishel and Amirul, new best friends.
She's thinking about it. I'm not sure how friendly those words were.
Yeah, you know, of course, I'm being sarcastic. I can't remember the best friends from last season, of course. And I'm talking about matchup rivalries. Oftentimes, it's whoever is playing against Daisuke Sato. There's also Papu Korsame, but he's not here with Cebu for today. He is listed as not playing.
Definitely missed his presence tonight because he does bring that fighting spirit to Cebu.
Great recovery. Aguiamang got to get it from Sato, but gave his ball away. Amaru in the process just returned it. Sato with some step overs, got fancy.
Yeah, One Taguig are comfortable now in possession and just playing around Cebu. Cebu's press is a bit stagnant at the moment.
But at this rate, it seems it's going to be 3 points to go the way of One Taguig. Yes, with us saying this, of course, it's because Taguig have been able to deprive Cebu of any attacking opportunities.
Yeah, and that's credit to the likes of Custodio, Sato, Ham, also Forzuelo.
And here's Naoto. You gotta love the battle here. Rachel couldn't get it. Fall from Bias. Bias still playing as if the game is still goalless. He loved that heart. Fans love the hustle, as we know. That's how you get some of the fan favorites.
Yeah, Bias, of course, a product of that RB Leipzig and German school of footballing, which is basically non-stop running, which is what we see from him.
Yoraishi. Arash. Daisuke just returning it. Don't you forget again, nag-doubleheader pa tayo bukas dito sa Rizal Memorial Stadium. It will be bounce back day for Philippine Army FC and Valenzuela PB Mindiola. They'll open the day, and we will also have that much awaited matchup, Manila Digger and Stallion Laguna. We do remember their last meeting last season. I'm not sure if you remember. There was a lot of action. Not just on the pitch, actually. It kind of got out of beyond the pitch also.
Yeah, definitely another exciting game. Lots to look out for.
Here's a chance now. Aguiamang tried to drill it. And Jeridi just knocking that one out.
Well, despite the scoreline, I must say Jeridi has had a really, really good evening. A lot of up-class saves. And he might be the Cebu player who is the happiest with his own individual performance after tonight.
You could also see his athleticism with that save. He was on his... Jumped off his feet, of course. And then punched it out. Fati. Fati did say he enjoyed that experience also. Playing against the Philippines and his teammates, the likes of Liddell. Speaking of Liddell, getting forward now, given that they are desperate. Too much traffic though here in the middle. Kaj secured, got it to Luis. So Luis started in the midfield, but they moved him to the back, given the different changes that they made in this game.
Oof, and yeah, I think that just about sums up Cebu's night so far. And Jeridi, the Cebu goalkeeper, is down at the moment, so the referee will have to stop play for now.
I'll end this story with Fati, of course, getting to play against the likes of Liddell. And in that situation, they are rivals in the field. So parang nag-friendship over sila for 90 minutes. Right after the game, of course, brothers again. There's a nice photo they took, of course, that was posted on Cebu's social media. A replay.
This might have been the moment Jeridi injured himself with the landing. He is holding his shoulder at the moment, and that was his last involvement. So Cebu will be hoping that probably their best performer tonight is okay and fit to continue for the rest of the season, because he has shown a lot of top quality saves this evening. He is getting it sprayed at the moment. It looks like he'll be okay to continue, but nonetheless, you do want all your best players fit, especially after only the first match day.
Stephen Ham and company having a drink in the technical area of Cebu. Of Cebu. Common, of course. And Aguiamang and Bias will step off. So is the Diaz. And Kurt Dizon will enter. We anticipated this earlier. We saw Kurt Dizon get sent out to warm up. That means they want to score. They want to score more. Breno Souza Diaz pictured now. One of the newcomers for this team. This is not good though with Jaridi. And Cebu players have actually gotten quite banged up in this game. We saw Cebu actually dictating the game of sorts in the beginning with their physicality, but it seems that just faded a bit in this game. I'm saying this because that's how they dictate the game at times, with their physicality.
Yeah, definitely a credit also to One Taguig that they didn't allow Cebu to stamp their authority on the game before they did themselves, and that's why the scoreline is what it is. Looks like another Cebu player is down actually.
That was Luis, yes. Victor Luis. And also, you see that change? There you go, the change is expected. Rosa is going to enter along with Ramos. But it's go time now here. But the desperation. So I'm looking or sensing a confusion of sorts. There you go. It looks like Cebu made the final call. They're subbing up Jaridi and then they're putting in Semblante. Now the reason why I'm saying this also because if Jaridi was okay, and it's not as bad as it looks. Perhaps they'd like to continue the game, but then again, you're down 2-0. Your keeper's gotten quite hurt. They make the change here.
Yeah, Cebu will definitely be hoping that whatever injury there is with Jaridi, that it's not a serious one because he has shown promise as the goalkeeper tonight. But also a chance now for Semblante to show what he's made of. Might get the chance to do it here.
But it's offside right here. Timing a little bit off. But a speedy recovery, of course, to Rami Jaridi. But with one of the newcomers of One Taguig, we did mention that there is Breno Souza Diaz, or call him Breno, given that he's Brazilian. He has experience in the Thai League. He had 2 stints in the Thai League in between. He played back home in Brazil. No surprise. We've seen the increase of Brazilian players actually since last season.
It definitely plays Philippine football fans, or plays Filipino football clubs rather, can source talent. And yeah, there's an example there of how you can acquire a foreign player. Of course, the foreign rule for this PFL season, it's 6 plus 1? 5 plus 1.
Plus 1, yes. And that plus 1 is a goalkeeper. So 5 players, but if you want the 6th one, that's a goalkeeper spot. Oh, there's the intention to play it quickly though. But here is the usual tactics in slowing down or delaying the team's setup. Not too many of these attacking opportunities for Cebu in this game.
Yeah, well, with just exactly 5 minutes of regulation time left, there's a time to get on the score sheet. It's now or never really for Cebu because yeah, time is of the essence for them.
This one, definitely from distance, you can expect a service. But fished out by Henry Bandeken.
Yeah, Bandeken definitely not as busy as his opposite goalkeeper, Jaridi, but has done the job when called to action. Actually, might have hurt Reichelt on the ground in the process. Again, bodies on the line for One Taguig, and that's why at this moment a clean sheet is still intact.
And in a situation like this, you're up 2-0. If Cebu bags a goal somehow, the game's complexion will change. Do you sub out a player like Reichelt because you don't want to risk getting him hurt or any injuries, right? I mean, let's face it, He's also gotten much older now.
Yeah. Well, definitely, since there is not much time left, substitution of Rachel probably on the mind of the coaching staff of Taguig, and also at the moment, Taguig are down.
And that was a knockout game intensity foul from Camis. The frustration obviously being shown there. John Pineda has brought out the yellow a number of times in this game already.
It's a late one.
There's more of that intention to come up with that shove as opposed to trying to knock the ball out from Arash.
It's an interesting sight here. Raisha's been given the captain's armband.
You could assume there, right, that they are going to sub up Daisuke Sato. Coach Glenn having a tough day. Yes, Reichelt is one of the co-captains, of course, or captains of his team. But let's talk about the goalkeeping situation here, or scenario, or the clean sheet stats. Last year, Jun Baderek was actually a Golden Glove winner with 7 clean sheets. He departed the team. There's those big shoes to fill. It's not essentially just your goalkeeper with clean sheets, right? It's also the effort with your defense. There's Henry Bandiken manning the posts for one Taguig. He did rack up 5 clean sheets in that last season. That was the case for Quincy Camerad, actually. Sato appears to be okay, but they are subbing him off.
Player number 66, Daisuke Sato, replaced by player number 22, Ichiro Aoki.
Here we go. Aoki into the game. Plenty of newcomers again with the way Taguig just shook up their roster.
Yeah, another example also of the Japanese influence in that one Taguig roster. There you see here the community also flooding to Rizal Memorial. Again, all games scheduled here, so might as well come down and watch.
Join the fans in attendance, of course, right here. You can buy tickets at the gate. So little ticket na yun is valid for the entire day. It's a triple header this Saturday at the Rizal Memorial Stadium. Today, we're in the second game already. Bukas naman, double header. That was a tough fall for Liddell. But Cebu will try to carry on because they're getting the ball forward. That was a fall while he was trying to secure that for them. And Fatih gets it in a dangerous area, trying to make them pay the price. Getting through traffic. And wins a free kick just outside the area.
Yeah, good play from Fatih there, just to take possession, and yeah, good footwork to win that foul also. And it is very late now in this match, so if Cebu were to do anything, it has to come now.
Or even if they do, it may be too little too late. A chance to get one on the board, but is that goal going to be a consolation should they manage to do so? Or will it be a clean sheet for Henry Bandiken and his back line? 7 minutes of additional time here. That is an eternity.
Yeah, in terms of additional minutes, it's probably because of all the stoppages we've had so far. We've seen a lot of weird things happen in football in less time, so never say never if you're Cebu, but for one thing, it's just about seeing this out.
It ain't over till it's over, as they say sometimes. Here's the strike taken. There's a close one in the follow-up though. Taguig's defense all over the place. Another one again. But just like that, the defense breached. Is this a lifeline? Or is it a consolation? No clean sheets today, so far.
But Decken Fong is absolutely livid at his backline because Yeah, just had to see out that second play. The initial set piece was dealt with, was already cleared by Stephen Halm. And that did find the Taguig players here. It's actually Fatih who put it back into the danger area, and we'll see what happened here. It was Stephen Halm who got a missed clearance and it fell to, is that Andes?
Looks like it was Rico Andes who turned it in, yes. Let's hold on.
Well, 6 minutes now. 6 minutes for Cebu to find something out of this match, and 6 minutes for one Taguig just to kill it. And out of nowhere, we have a grandstand finish.
Hey, that was the next goal I was talking about, with being the most important one, right? With the momentum shift. And one Taguig doing that again. But the intention there was to waste time, right? Getting the ball forward and then press. Make it difficult for Cebu. Make them uncomfortable. Because yes, Cebu's defense did leak a number of times, as we see. And there's the control. And taken easily to the gloves of Semblante. He had his angle sorted out. Arash got a shot on target.
First save for Semblante after coming on. Just keeping his team alive.
For the record again, Arash will just let that one go offside. But for the record, Rami Jaridi had to be subbed off. It appears to be his shoulder, left shoulder to be precise, that is bothering him. That's why it's Jesse Semblante now. This was an offside call, right? But let's check. What is Big John Pineda clarifying?
Looks like he's giving a free kick. Not too sure what for.
Nothing here with the keeper accidentally handling a back pass or any of that, right?
But the linesman is absolutely adamant that
when the referee is allowed to have that chat with his linesman.
has it been a free kick or has it been something else?
You could just see here at Coach Glenn.
It looks like a free kick because Semblante is organizing a wall.
You could see the way they're distressed. We're having a look here. This was the incident.
Well, Reichel was offside, that's for sure. And that's why the linesman has his flag up.
Well, we didn't see any contact with Reichelt actually in that instance.
We'll let those who want to continue speaking about it continue to talk about it.
Because we didn't see any touch of the ball.
Yeah.
Reichelt just let it go also. And he just carried on and let himself get flagged offside so they could burn time off the clock. Mr. Tassi not happy.
And it just burns more time in this 7 minutes of additional time. That was a full minute of clarification alone.
A 5-man wall and the chance to get another one on the board and restore the 2-goal advantage. Then it's Breno taking it. There's also Arash close to the wall in hopes of just getting them to commit a mistake or just to distract them. Here we go. And with that, it's just 2 minutes remaining in additional time. Here's the whistle. Reichel joining the fray. But this is sent over.
Yeah, the angle just a bit too tight to get it up and over the wall and back down in time before the crossbar. So it's skied over.
And Brose got dispossessed. They got the throw in now. Trying to get it quickly to Tong. With all of these stoppages, it's also possible that the referee put that on top, but it's not. We're not adjusting the number 7, which is the number of minutes added on, but it's the discretion of the referee.
Yes, Cebu will send everyone forward for this one, all their tall players.
Ramos with the long ball. Fatih is off of Naoto. Gadya getting it to the final third as they're desperate. Gadya fouling Reichelt.
And that's a crucial foul win from Reichelt. And that will just maybe kill enough time to reach the actual 7 minutes. Whether or not we go over it is up to the decision of the referee.
Do note again, we still have another matchup later on. KFC will take on Aguilas. Brose winning it with that sense of urgency. Gets a bit of that head start. Oh, and does not keep it in. And Coach Glenn furious. He felt that was still on the line. And then the Cebu bench just emulating that frustration.
Emotions firing up here towards the end.
Coach Paulo Isidro also on his feet to contest that.
Can't tell from that angle, in all honesty. But the linesman, obviously best positioned in that scenario, thought it was out.
No VAR or anything here. The best case, if you are Cebu, is that the referees have a chat about it and then make a decision on what they saw, or based on what they saw with their own eyes. But Mick John Pineda, from the looks of it, is going to bring out his yellow card once more. Coach Paulo, I think, was going to get booked. Interesting, he gets away with a warning, but at the end of the day, it favors Taguig because time's being wasted. We're past the 7 minutes already, but given the stoppages, you may expect a little more football. Liddell and Rosquillo try to get it forward quickly. Gutsy there, a yellow. Oh! That has to be the second yellow, right?
Yeah, it's Forzuelo. He picked one up in the first half.
I wasn't so sure with the angle if it was Forzuelo or someone else, but you confirmed it, you saw it. This might be too little, too late.
Definitely a second yellow card worthy challenge. He'll argue that he got the ball, but got a lot of the man as well. He's still on the pitch, actually, so the play won't restart for now. Now he's off it.
I believe that was Sudo, was floored. Desperation time now for Cebu. Best case is they salvage a point. Taguig holding on. They lost the clean sheet hopes. They can still secure the 3 points. And Taisuke Sato sending it forward. Coach Arvin, the staff, of course, of Taguig, they're asking for the full-time whistle already desperately. And Camis and Hong getting into a collision. And I will say, if you irk Stephen Hom, that means you really did something. Because he's really a soft-spoken guy.
Yeah, that foul might just be that for this match. The Decken taking no chance will go long on this one. 2 minutes over the indicated 7 minutes.
Sorry, I said earlier there was a Sato clearance. That was not Sato. My apologies. Ganun ka-intense yung galaw. It may have been a rush. I'm not so sure.
Not too sure.
Time-wasting antics here and clarifying where the free kick will be taken. We see that from Imsor in the lead and desperate to hold on. Reichel versus Brose, the air. And just like that, it's the full-time whistle. Even Patrick Reichel celebrating. A bit of that energy na parang nanalo ng championship. Because these are highly touted teams playing. But it's 2-1 at the Rizal Memorial Stadium.
Yeah, this match definitely a 6-pointer, quote-unquote, because of how the league is formatted. And what a big 3 points for Taguig FC. They made it hard at the end, but they got there after all that.
And just the opener here for the two teams in the PFL, but quality football. I'm speechless.
Yeah, a lot of drama also. in the end. But in the end, we're seeing sportsmanship. Noah Ledel on the One Taguig bench. And yeah, what an encounter that was. And it's only match week 3. But it was a, I wouldn't say championship encounter, but definitely
Intensity through the roof.
Yeah.
That's what we've been talking about. The intensity from all the players, from the Gentle Giants and from the players of One Taguig. That's why pati tayo nahawa dito and enjoyed it. Well, it is 2-1 again. Reichelt and Altaguer, the scorers for Taguig. There's Rico and that's getting what became a consolation, unfortunately for them. But we're gonna get you the highlights also in a bit. But what a treat, but we still have another game also today. And here's a look again at what went on.
This was the most recent chance, but it was in the end One Taguig who had the best chances and the ones that took them the most. Here's Aldeguer, what a game he had, 1 goal, 1 assist, and look at that calmly taken finish from Patrick Reichelt to make it 2-0, and that was the goal that really put One Taguig in a comfortable position for the rest of the second half. Cebu did press, and for the most part also in that second half, One Taguig held firm. Nearly made it 3 on multiple occasions if it weren't for goalkeeper Jeridi, who had to make more than 1 good save and actually got injured in the process. Here we see, this is the save where he actually did get injured, si Jeridi. But in the end, yeah, One Taguig holding on, barely. This was actually their goal. It was initially a cleared chance already, and then Fatih getting it back involved into the danger area. Enrico Andes continuing his fine goal scoring form to make it 2-1. Too little too late though for Dynamic from Cebu.
But it was a treat for everyone here at the stadium. We are just appreciating the intensity, the teams giving their all. This is what the fans love. 2 games done and dusted today. No clean sheet yet, but quality games, quality action. We have KFC Iloilo and Aguilas heading to the pitch now to warm up also. We'll also sign off here from the panel, but we will take it to the pitch in a bit also, as we are going to interview our man of the match alongside Diego Cordero. This is Claro Manzano. We are the commentators for this one, and we'll take you to our post-match interview.
I think we started pretty strong. I could have finished some chances. It's all about creating chances for me. We created a lot of chances in the first half. I should have scored 1 or 2 goals, but we kept going. We had a great mentality until the end when they made it very difficult to the last few minutes. But it's always great to start with a win. We're going to build on this one, and we're going to keep winning and winning and winning.
The last question for you is, can you tell us a memorable moment from this game and walk us through what your thoughts during the play?
Important moment is the first goal. Andres did really well. He's a fighter. We have been training like that for a couple of weeks now with him, having a great preseason, and for him to break the deadline, break the score. From that, we built on. For me, I felt very comfortable until the last 5 minutes. I feel we dominated them through the whole game. There's a big difference of quality for me throughout the game. We're going to build on that. We have to be stronger in our mind also in the last part of the game.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.